If you're not assessing, you're guessing, and this is just one of hundreds of assessments that can be found in my members only section. If you'd like to learn all of the assessments, then consider becoming a channel member. But for right now, let's get our assessment on. And while we're resting, we have two more assessments to test for stability. The first is going to be the wobble board test. And I forgot to mention this, but for all of the tests, you want to be standing on a 45-degree angle when you are observing your client. But with regard to the wobble board test, this is going to be great for assessing VMO and hip function. VMO being the vastus medialis obliquus, or the oblique fibers of the VMO, the vastus medialis. First thing that we want to do is we are going to instruct the patient to put their hands on their hips. We want them to get the center of their arch over the wobble board. And then what we would do for this one is just have them get back. And we would want to instruct them to go into a split squat so that their hams touch their calves on a 4010 tempo. So you're going to come down for 4 seconds, touch, and then come back up for 1 second. With regard to this one, what are we looking for? Well, if they end up going into a valgus knee, that could indicate weakness in the vastus medialis oblique fibers, or it could indicate weakness in the medial hip rotators. If they end up going into excessive dorsiflexion, so the toes are pointing up, then that could indicate weakness in the quadriceps. If they go into excessive plantar flexion, that could indicate weakness in the gluteus maximus. If they end up going into excessive hip or trunk flexion, it could also indicate weakness in the gluteus maximus. If they end up going into lateral trunk flexion, it can indicate weakness in the QL, the quadratus lumborum. And if they end up going into ipsilateral torso rotation, so they're rotating toward the side that they are testing, that could indicate weakness in the gluteus medius muscle. And then lastly, a vertical shin could indicate weakness in the hamstrings. Next, we want to go ahead and we are going to perform the sit-fit test. For the sit-fit test, that was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.